Hey guys, today I will show you how you can design a geode farm in less than 15 minutes with the mod Geodesy. So what the mod does, it helps you design such a flying machine based geode farm that usually takes over 2 hours to design in creative alone, even longer if you try to do something like this in survival. So using flying machines in a sequence to clear all sides of the budding emissions of the emissions shards is definitely one of the most efficient ways of doing it. While it's usually already a lot of work to design a single of those geode farms, with the help of the mod, we were able to design 14 geode farms and also build them in survival. So I've been running this for a couple days now and have access to almost 100,000 shards here. So we can definitely use tinted glass in our builds from now on. Alright, now I'll show you how you can make such a farm with the Geodesy mod. Right, so first thing we need to do is find a geode we want to turn into a farm, and then we need to copy this over to a creative world. You could either use structure blocks for this, but I would recommend to use the mod ilmango for this. Then just select 2 of the corner points, so all the important budding emissions are within that range. Can also be a couple more blocks. So I'm just gonna select this block here, and then a corner block on the other side. There we go. And this should have the whole geode. Then I'm just gonna save this. And then we can go over to the creative world and import it there. Okay, so we're gonna use ilmango to import this to our creative world, like this. And turn off the rendering. And then we can use the Geodesy mod to select the area first. So just type in /geodesy area, take 1 corner point, then go to the other side and select this one. Okay, and then just press enter. Okay, now we have a nice layout of the budding amethyst structure. Right, so the next step is to analyze this area. So just Geodesy analyze. Okay, now it tells us the efficiency for certain flying machine configurations. So you could, for example, just send a single flying machine in from the east, and then 150 of the 294 amethyst clusters can be cleared. That also shows us if you send in a flying machine from south or north, we would have a 54% efficiency. In case we send a flying machine from 2 sides, so east and south, 83%. And if you send 3 flying machines, we have the highest efficiency of 93%. Wouldn't matter for the efficiency if you select east or west, but in case you already have something built around your geode, you want to prefer a certain side. Okay, so the next step is now to do the projection. So Geodesy project, and here just enter the sides you want flying machines to be. So east, south, up, you want all of them. So what this projection shows us is where we want to have parts of the flying machine and where we don't want to have parts of a flying machine. So if you look at this pumpkin block here, so if we have a part of the flying machine going this way, we'll shave off the amethyst clusters here on top of the budding amethyst. But obviously 1 block lower, we have the crying obsidian. It would be really bad if we had a part of the flying machine there, because then this block would just break the budding amethyst. So the budding amethyst are block, they can't be moved. Like a sugarcane block, it would just break if you push a block in its way. Okay, so next we need to do a little Tetris-like mini game. We need to assign the front part of the flying machines to this shape. Okay, so there's a push limit of 12 blocks in a game. Now with slime and honey, we can try to make certain shapes where the flying machine can fly through. So we always need to keep in mind there's this 12 block push limit. So here we are already at 10, so I could add 2 more. And we have the first structure. It's also always important that you have at least 4 blocks, and one of the segments should be 3 blocks long, either vertically or horizontally. Okay, then another limiting factor is that you don't want to have 2 flying machines like next to each other. So this would also be bad if we would have a flying machine here and directly on top. But apart from that, it's really not that hard to make structures that would fit the pumpkins. And you can always alternate between slime and honey. So here now we got slime structure. Here you can just use honey if both the blocks should touch each other. Okay, so we got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, we got another one covered. Now here we can squeeze in another flying machine here out of slime blocks. Oh, actually we can't, because here we already have this part. Okay, it doesn't need to be 12, by the way, so you can go lower with the number. Might be a little bit better if you have bigger front parts that are close to 12, because then you need fewer flying machines. But in case it just doesn't really match, then it doesn't matter if you only use 7 or 8 as well, so there's also a possibility. Okay, now we got 9, for example. Could still add more, or just decide to use slime here again. Alright, so here we got now 5 long strip. We could already use this, so we would need 3 white flying machine, then we need 1 additional block that stops this. Later we need to assign this with some zombie and wither skeleton heads as well. But I'm just gonna continue here. So this would be a flying machine. And so on. So I'm just gonna do this for all 3 sides. Usually there's one side that is sent in last, where you have the most spots. The mod is actually clever. It knows if a spot is already covered by a flying machine, that we don't need to cover it from the other side. So usually on top, which is like the most annoying to build in survival, there's only a very few spots left that need to be covered. Alright, so I assigned flying machine structures that wrap around the budding amethyst in the end, without taking them out. Okay, so we just need to assign where exactly we want to put the flying machines. And we can do this with the zombie heads. So either, as I said, a 3 long vertical or a horizontal structure needs to be assigned a flying machine. And then we need 1 more block to stop the flying machine part. So this would be assigned with the wither skeleton head. Alright, so this is rather easy. Just need to find 3 long structures. Just need to make sure that the parts don't touch each other. Okay. This way, each of those segments needs a flying machine. Shouldn't be too hard to do this. I hope you get the idea. Okay, you can also add an additional block. For example, here's the only 3 white structure. I could technically move this over, but you can always add 1 more block if you have push limit left, for example, into here. Alright, so we assign a flying machine to each of the flying machine front parts there, with the heads and skulls. And then the next step is we do Geodesy assemble. And it will automatically add the flying machines and already parts of the launching sequence. In case you forgot to add heads for the flying machine, you also can add those after you did the assemble step. So here, for example, I forgot this module and still fix it by adding the heads this way. It's also necessary that you have the non-movable block in an L-type shape. So it would work like this. And we have either the movable block here or at the bottom. It just needs to be this L-type shape. Okay, then we can do assemble again, and it will add everything. Okay, if you add it the second time, your top flying machine might get launched. Alright, so the Geodesy mod made the correct flying machines for us. There's a water collection already at the bottom that flushes all the items towards the middle. Then the launching sequence for the top is already finished, and for the sides as well. You just need to connect those later. And we already have the correct clock to launch the flying machines every 167 minutes. Alright, so last step we need to do manually is just to connect the launching sequences. Okay, so usually you wanna just pick a flying machine on top and add 1 more observer here that could point anyway, but we wanna hook this up next. So we're just gonna pick some blocks and run a normal redstone wire down there. So we need a 4-tick repeater there. We basically just need to connect this now to the observer here at the top. So this should not be hard to do. Just need to keep in mind there's a signal strength of 15 limit, and obviously this shouldn't be in the way of the flying machines at all. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We can go to the side and we can add a repeater. Yeah, we need to go down a little bit again. There we go. Okay. Then we need to do something similar. So there's still this one spot here we can use. Have an observer facing this way. And then run a redstone wire to this activation. Also, you need to keep in mind there's also the signal strength 15 limit. If this redstone dust line is longer than 15, you just wanna put the signal in there. Okay. So we just need to connect this as well now. Here we go. Make sure there's repeater on 4. There's the scaffolding launching mechanism. This wouldn't work with a short pulse. Okay, so you can also quickly test again if all the machines work correctly by punching out this torch and placing it again in creative. Now it will send the top flying machine, goes all the way down. Geodesy also correctly assigned the non-movable blocks there to stop all the flying machines, and then they can self-return. On the side we have moss blocks, which is quite a cheap material that doesn't stick to the slime and honey, of course. Okay, so the next flying machine is launched. There we go. And once this coming back, we launch the last flying machine, and then the last amethyst clusters will be taken out. The mod already indicates which spots can't be cleared with the buttons there. So if you've done everything correctly, there should be no amethyst clusters left at all. Might be a good idea to turn your random tick speed to 0 as well in creative. There we go. Alright. Now you just need to take a schematic of this again and build it in your survival world. So I would recommend to use the Labmatica mod. So the way I always do it is with the Labmatica tool and just do the area selection, the expand mode. Go to all sides, top covered. There we go. Bottom. Then I can save this and then build it in my survival world quite easily. Alright, so once you have a little bit of a routine, know what you're doing, it's definitely possible to design a whole geode farm in less than 15 minutes. Depends a bit on the size as well. This was actually a really large one, but there's also smaller ones that you can do in 5 minutes probably. Alright, so there's still room for improvement, of course, for Geodesy. The goal kind of would be to just copy the geode structure to creative, and then the mod does everything for you. So you wouldn't need to assign like the front of the flying machine yourself. The mod does it for you, and the exact position of the flying machine, and to connect the launching sequence. This would all be done by the mod. This would be even better, but it's a bit tricky. So in case somebody wants to contribute to the mod, or ask Cosmolot, he would be interested in that. If somebody could maybe provide some code to find some algorithm to assign the flying machine's shape and exact position somehow. Okay, so maybe in case you're interested in helping, then get in contact with Cosmo. Alright, that's all for today. Thanks guys for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.